All right, Shalom. All right, first of
Shalom.
all right, first and foremost, we have to give all the praises, honor, and glory unto the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh,
Bashim.
Ba'ashim, Yahweh
Bye.
Shai, Ba'ashim, Ruka Kadash. All right, double honors and respect to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who well and taught us truth. I would also like to say peace and salutations to the Lord's elect, the whole elect and the 1/3, and yours like foreigners, scattered across the four corners of the earth, that look like the heathen, but your seed line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. To you, I say shalom. This is your brother Salah.
Brother Torah.
All right, and in today's video, man, we gonna be covering more about Caesar Nero, aka DJT-47, sending the CIA, the CIA to attack Venezuela, man. In the midst of this government shutdown, man, and and the brother Sarah, we've been thinking about it, right? Like this shutdown is still continuing on, man. And they said like this is the third longest shutdown in history, right? And I gotta ask you, man, in the midst of all this shutdown, how do we still have the funds, this, to send all these troops across the world, man, to send the CIA, man, and down to Venezuela and in other parts of South America, this to smuggle drugs, destabilize economies, put in puppet leaders and all that, but we don't have enough money to pay freaking, like SNAP benefits, or have better, have better health insurance or whatever, or even improve, the physical infrastructure of America, right. But but Esau, man, but we have infinite funds, man, to support what Babylon's greatest ally. If we can't say who they are, but them tiny tops, man. Them small hats or them small caps. Yeah, so we apparently, man, we have infinite amount of funds, to help out those people, but not their own citizens here in Babylon, right? Right, but that just goes to show you, man. That Esau Edom, man. We say the so-called white man, and because we obviously know it's not all white people, man. It's from it's from a specific lineage, man. Esau, man. Who's ordained to be the wicked, and man, yeah, we know that the reason why he puts he puts all these funds, man, and all this effort into his militia, his military, and all his secret government operations is because it goes back to to his busting the sword, man. And and you best believe, man, in the midst of all this chaos, man, he's about to come down hard in the sword, hard with his sword, man, because pertaining to Revelation, 12 verse 12, man, this devil knows he has but a short time in rulership, man. He knows that Yahweh Shai is gonna come back, and judge his ass, man. Along with the rest of the heathens, the 2/3 and the rebels. So, Yahweh Shai about to come back, man. So we're gonna open up before we play the video. We're gonna open up with 2nd Esdras chapter 15. Verse 15, it says here, "For the sword in their destruction draweth nigh, and one people stand up and fight against another with swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." And this is the time that we're living in. So before we play this video by the geopolitical economy report, we're only gonna play like the first 8 minutes, which shows mostly important receipts. And then after that, we're gonna bring out a few more precepts. So before we play the video, we're going to get the copyright disclaimer. We're gonna declare the copyright disclaimer. All right, here are the research tools. All right, so disclaimer, copyright disclaimer to Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, research. Fair use is used permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All right, so with that out of the way, we're gonna play the video.
The United States is waging war on Venezuela. There is no longer a debate about this. It is not a hypothetical. This is happening, and Donald Trump is escalating the war against Venezuela. The U.S. military has already killed dozens of Venezuelans in strikes on boats in international waters without charge or trial. These are extrajudicial executions that have been condemned by UN experts on international law. And among the victims of these illegal U.S. attacks have been citizens of Colombia and the Caribbean state of Trinidad and Tobago. So the Trump administration is killing innocent people from different countries as part of this war on Venezuela. And every day, Donald Trump is ratcheting up these attacks on Venezuela and threatening regime change against Venezuela's president, Nicolas Maduro. I'm going to read here part of a report from ABC News published on the 16th of October, noting how the U.S. military is now flying B-52 bombers off of the coast of Venezuela in what they call a show of force. This is a threat to bomb Venezuela to overthrow Venezuela's government. I'm reading here from ABC News. Quote, in less than a week, President Donald Trump has threatened to attack inside Venezuela, confirmed ongoing covert operations inside the country, and ordered bombers capable of dropping nuclear weapons to fly in circles off its coast in what appears to be an unprecedented show of force intended to pressure the Venezuelan president to step down. End quote. And then the article noted that on the 16th, the U.S. launched its 6th lethal boat strike in the Caribbean, killing more Venezuelans without charges, without trial. Meanwhile, Donald Trump has admitted that he has authorized the CIA to carry out destabilization operations inside Venezuela to try to overthrow Venezuela's internationally recognized constitutional government. This is a blatant act of war against Venezuela. And if you know anything about the history of the CIA in Latin America, you know that the CIA has backed death squads who have carried out crimes.
Okay, so I'm gonna pause the video right there. You see the title where it says in the New York Times Post opinion, and you see that word right there, or under the word opinion, that T word, right? Like the Esau man, who will label you that T word, right, as a means to justify by sending his CIA, man, or they're sending his military troops, to destroy that land, man, and get whatever resources they want, or use that land to set up their military bases, man, which is pretty much colonialism, right? Right, while in the midst of calling your country or calling the people there, freaking T words, right? Right, they'll say that all right, your president is not upholding democracy, man. Let's fix that by setting up a puppet leader, right? Right, and before I continue, let's we're gonna get a precept to substantiate this. So we're gonna get covet. So we're gonna get Micah chapter 2 verse 2, and it says here, and they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man and his heritage, right? That's basically what this fucking devil's doing, man. This damn devil, man, has a history, of raping, robbing, pillaging, people taking their resources, taking their lands, to set up shop and to set up their military bases, exploiting its precious minerals, man, and its metals, to develop their own country, man. Babylon, man.
This place is ram. It's like, man, it's like these people are. I feel like I don't know. These people evil, man. They don't forget they used to eat people too.
They did, man. And that goes back to that, to them being, living in the Caucasus Mountains, and which is not their original home. Their original home was actually Mount Seir, which is modern day Petra, man. And You know, and if you look at Elder Malcolm's videos, and if you looked at Mount Seir, man, you look at the relics, man, you would think that you were in ancient Greece or ancient Rome, but no, that's that's these Edomites, man, these so-called white people, man, because we know not every white person's in Edomite, man. It's mainly these devils, these Edomites, man. These colonizing, motherfuckers. That want to take every resource for themselves, man. And we have another precept for that as well. Let our strength be. All right, so we're gonna get the Book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, and we're gonna start at verse 10, right? All right, so this is the mindset of these fucking devils, man. This is King Solomon, right? In Wisdom of Solomon, which Solomon was one of the incarnations of Yahweh Shai, right? Right, this is Solomon or Yahushua, dissecting the minds of these devils, right? How they think, man. You, about or how they feel about other people, man. What's in their spirit. So Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 10, and it says here, "Let us oppress." Actually, no, we could really start we could really we could really start at verse 6. We can start at verse 5, right? Let's start at verse 5. It says here, for our time is a very shadow that passeth away, and after our end there is no returning. For this fast seal that no man cometh again. And that's a damn lie, because reincarnation exists, man. You could look that up in Revelation, where it says, they that pierced them, we'll see. We'll see. And who's the day that pierced him, man? Them Roman soldiers that pierced Yahweh Shai. Well, how are they going to see him again if they died over 2,000 years ago? It's because their spirits came back, man. That's how. And these Edomites don't believe in reincarnation. They believe in that dumbass YOLO spirit. You only live once, which is why they think they can do whatever the fuck they want. But these damn devils, man, they gonna be in a rude awakening once Yahweh Shai comes back and put their asses in a fucking slavery, man. Which is soon to come. All right, verse 6. Come on, therefore let us enjoy the good things that are present, and let us speedily use the creatures like as in our youth. Let us fill ourselves with costly wine and ointments, and let no flower of the spring pass us by. Let us crown ourselves with rosebuds before they are withered. Let none of us go without his part of our voluptuousness. Let us leave tokens of our joyfulness in every place, for this is our portion and our lot of this. So they think that every good thing should belong to them, man. Man, they think all the riches and whatnot, all the fruits and everything, and even the animals, should go to them,
And they go back to Genesis up. What was that? How was that? Let me go to it.
Go ahead,
I believe it was let me see. And Isaac is Genesis 27:39. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and the dew of heaven from above. So, Esau. So this is what Isaac told Esau, correct?
Yeah.
That he would have the fatness of the earth. So is that why he think is that you think that's why he got that pride demon on him, that prideful spirit?
Yeah.
Because it seemed like he winning right now, and he feel like he should still be winning and constantly winning, and he feel like he the only one that should win. But that's gonna come. What it said, the elder shall serve the younger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right, man. It goes back to him, having the blessing of the fatness of the earth, but it also is because Esau's a covetous person, right? And that goes all the way back to the Esau, selling his birthright, for that pottage, man, going back to him wanting that instant gratification of fulfilling the desire of his flesh, which was what hunger at the time, right? And it's not like he was gonna starve too, man. Like all he had to do was just wait for a little bit for Jacob to to finish, man. They would have enough for both of them, but nah, he wanted that shit now. Or he could have just went to town and bought food or something, or whatever, right? Because they weren't even that far from the nearest town back then. So
What's the scripture? The Lord guided thy paths. Uh, in his mind, he probably wanted to do it.
he did, man, and that was ordained by Yahweh Bashim Al Shai too from the
Those
very
ones of the
beginning, man.
morning.
Yeah, yeah.
Cause you could think one thing and then the Most High. You ever thought like, damn, I'm gonna go to the beach in the morning. And you end up going to goddamn work because the Most High might put the spirit on your manager to call you. I really need you. I really need you. So everything is ordained from you. How about you? How's that?
That's right. You don't know what you're gonna do the next day, man. And you know what this is spiritual too, because remember, Isaac was also an incarnation of Yahweh Shai, man. And so in the wisdom of Solomon, man, like he already knew how these devils thought is because why he gave Esau that blessing is because he knew he'd already act, man. So he knows what his entire lineage would be like, man. Selfish, greedy, covetous motherfuckers, man. And
Mm.
so jumping back to the wisdom of Solomon, man. Here's the main point in verse 10, right? Right. It says here, let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of his head. Slaki. Let me start again. Let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the aged. Let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. Therefore, let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn, and he is clean contrary to our doings, right? Because what are the prophets, starting with the apostles and elders and brothers doing on down, we're cussing out Esau, we're rebuking him, man. We're saying that, hey, man, you the fucking devil of the planet, man. You about to go into captivity, man, for all the wickedness that you've been doing, man. You've been pushing out, Moism, you've been pushing out, fucking feminism. You pollute the fucking earth, man. You go and colonize these other countries, man. Send your military, your CIA agents, or whatever, man. Your UN troops, and what do, man? You kill, rape, rob, and pillage, man. Which is what you've been doing, man. Going back to the Renaissance age, man.
God, they want to talk about all these rape laws and all this, and y'all, these motherfuckers, the main one was doing it and still doing it and working with the cartels.
And you know what? And let me show you this receipt too, man. Who are the main perpetrators here on this planet, right? Who are the main fucking perpetrators that
It was like, how's the things that Esau searched out?
yeah, how is hidden things sought up? It right here, man. Right, and again, fair use. This from Yahweh Sot, man.
Aggravated assault, and it's funny they doing all this graping, they can't produce no children. Imagine if Jake was graping, man, we would have been dropping seed all over, just like you seen over in
And it says here in the thumbnail, it says here, according to FBI, but the UCR FBI.gov, right, from the official government website, you can look this up right now. White people commit 69.6% of the crimes. Edomites, right? Right. Because again, some of my people might look like white people. Oh, all crimes of all crimes, right? But yet they only make up what, 20% of the population. Man, this devil, right? He only makes up 20% of the population, but yet he commits like over 70% of the crimes, damn near.
That's his blessing.
Which we know is the
That
sword.
sword. And he definitely, that's mainly what his crimes is, the sword. Using the sword.
That's right, Doc. And and
'Cause
and, and
Con.
and that and see, Isaac knew this. or see, King Solomon knew this when he wrote this down, because he was Isaac, man. And we know, we know they're both Yahweh Shai, man. Man, this goes all the way back to Genesis 27:38. And Esau said unto his father, "Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, oh my father." And Esau lifted up his voice and wept, man. His bitch ass cried, man, just like you see Edomites cry when they go on trial, man. Man, when they get in trouble, like, "Oh, judge, please don't send me to jail, please."
And Esau, man, dude, yeah. But man, we exposing this nigga.
And you know, this devil's ass, man. He's getting exposed on a high level, like we haven't seen before, man. And it's all thanks to the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Be, be, be,
That's the spirit.
because let me tell you something. We would not be able to do this ourselves, man. Like you best believe, man. You know like they would be saying they're going on us, which best believe that's what's gonna happen during Jacob's trouble, man. Everyone's gonna get tried. Like during that time, man. So pray that the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahshai, man. That he gives us strength during those times, right? So, all right. So hold on. Like, before I begin, let me find that receipt if I could find it. Bear with me for a few moments. It's Baba Gashah. Let's if I can find it. And I know I had it. I know I saved it somewhere. Let's see, where is it? 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 Where the freak is it? I know I had it somewhere. Let's see. Where is it? If I can find it. It's like if I can find that receipt. Oh, all right. Well, I found one of them, but it's not very clear. But but it says here, man, these Edomites, man, they only make up 28% of the population. Actually, actually we can Google this right now. Now, you know what? Let's see if this shows up on Google. It says here. Let's see. If FBI reports white men make up 28% of the U.S. population, but commit over 69% let's see. Let's see. Total rest, right? Actually, let me go to images. Let's see if I can find that. Yeah, right here. Fact check. Right. Despite making up only 28 of the U.S. population, FBI shows that white men are 55% of the kidnappers, 56% of rapists, 58% of mass shooters, 59% of child porn arrests, 62% of statutory rapists, pedophiles, 63% of prostitution solicitors, and you best believe they were underage too, man. And 68% of 1934 and NFA offenders, and 75% of incest predators, man. And I just and you could Google this shit right here, man. FBI report. You just Google FBI reports. What white men make up 20%? You could literally Google this right now, man. And the receipts are right fucking there. Man, I'm telling you, you cannot make this shit up. All right. All right. So jumping back to Wisdom of Solomon, right? Are we gonna start again at verse 10? Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 10. It says here, "Let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the age. Let our strength be the law of justice. For that which is feeble is found nothing to be worth. Therefore, let us lie in wait for the righteousness, because he is not for our turn, and is clean contrary to our doings. He upbraideth us with our offending of the law, and objecteth our infamy with the transgressions of our education." Right, and yeah, that's what we're doing, man. We're exposing Esau. For all his wickedness, man. We're exposing his lies, man, his pseudoscience, that he teaches throughout school, man, saying that we came from fucking monkeys, man. When no, man, Esau's he's the real cave monkey, man. He's the real hairy ape that came from the caves, and he's our twin brother too, man. He's our evil twin brother, Esau. That came from Isaac.
That's the real Chucky, man. That nigga evil. He came out the womb evil.
Evil to the bone, man. And guess what, man? And guess what? If we jump back to Genesis, this is gonna substantiate this, right? Right. All right. So picking back up at Genesis 27, verse 37, and Isaac answered and said unto Esau, "Behold, Actually, no, Slakia. It's, Genesis 27, verse 39, and it says here, and Isaac answered his father and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven from above, and by thy sword shalt thou live, and shall serve thy mother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, and thou shalt break his yoke off thy neck. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherein his father had blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning for my father at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. It's been this man's, in this motherfucker's heart, to kill Jacob, man. That's why you see all these killings, man. And and we're not even gonna count all the police brutalities, man. It's just Esau, man, and even recently on the news, man, you see Jay getting hung on trees, man, with broken bones, man. This devil's not gonna stop, man, until the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai comes back, destroys Babylon and puts this motherfucker in chains where he rightfully belongs. Man. So you best believe, Esau, that day of recompense is coming, man. That day of judgment. Right. All right. Malachi chapter 1 verse 3. And I have made Esau bare and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Amos chapters 1 verse 11. Thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Shai, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with a sword, and did cast off all pity. His anger did tear perpetually, and kept his wrath forever, man. And so because he did that, man, we all know what's gonna happen in the book of Obadiah. He's gonna be ultimately cut off, man. And all right, Luke chapter 18 verse 7, and shall not Yahweh avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him, though he bear long with them. Yeah, that's right, man. You know, long suffering, man. You know,
The elect crying day and night because we in this captivity under Esau, and that's why King David was crying in the spirit. How long, oh Lord? You know, because ultimately we tired, but we see it coming. We see it coming to an end. So
yeah, yeah,
constantly going.
yeah. We almost out of here, man. So I'm gonna continue with the video, and we gonna finish up, right, because there's still some more important receipts in this video.
Against humanity, like the Contras in Nicaragua in the 1980s. The CIA has also committed war crimes directly. The CIA put mine.
All right, yes, yeah. Screenshot these. Yeah, I'm gonna pause the video right now. So, so like you brothers and you few sisters, you can screenshot these receipts. You see right here, CIA's mass murderer or murder manual in Nicaragua, and this was under under Jimmy Carter's turn, man. So so Esau been having it out for Jacob, man.
In Nicaragua's ports in the 1980s, and there was a case at the International Court of Justice.
I'll pause again. I mean, you can look at the original video too. I've already shown the beginning of the video, but I'm just gonna pause it so you brothers and sisters can take the screenshot. All right, continuing on.
Accusing the U.S. of violating international law and carrying out war crimes, and the U.S. lost that case. The Hague ruled in support of the people of Nicaragua. Also, the CIA has backed dozens of military coups in Latin America against democratically elected leaders. Like famously, in 1954, the CIA overthrew Guatemala's democratically elected left-wing president Jacobo Arbenz on behalf of the United Fruit Company, this U.S. corporation. And then, of course, on the first September 11th, the first 9/11 attack in 1973, the CIA overthrew Chile's democratically elected socialist president.
So you heard that right there. Their first 9/11 attack, man. Which goes to show you, man, that that this damn devil, follows his, is using his left-handed rituals, man. For his attacks. And you best believe that that was also a sacrifice too, man.
Salvador Allende, and installed a fascist dictator, Augusto Pinochet, who killed thousands of people and maintained an iron grip on power with a military dictatorship for nearly 2 decades. So now Trump is very clearly giving the CIA a green light to try to do the exact same thing in Venezuela, to overthrow Venezuela's government and install a U.S. puppet regime, just like what the CIA did in Guatemala and Chile and Argentina and Brazil and many other countries. Now, the ridiculous narrative that the Trump administration is using is that supposedly it's attacking Venezuela in order to stop the flow of drugs in Scandinavia.
All right. So I'm gonna pause it right here again. Take a screen for all right for you brothers and few sisters. Take a screenshot of this, right? To take a screenshot of their fucking lies, and then I'm gonna show you something else right next, right? American officials have been clearly, targeting boats off the Venezuelan coast. It says are transporting drugs, killing 72 people. American officials have been clear privately that the end of this goal is to drive Mr. Maduro out from power. The new authority would allow the CIA to carry out lethal operations in Venezuela. The agency would be able to take covert action against Mr. Maduro and his government, either unilaterally or conjunction with a larger military operation, right? So, All right, so all right, so all right, so all right, so now, all right, so once you're done taking a screenshot of this, I'm gonna show you something else. This is the receipt that that I produced from DeepSeek, right? Take a screenshot of this, right? Right. I asked DeepSeek, did the CIA work with drug cartels in Central and South America to allow drugs to be smuggled into the United States? And the short answer is yes. There have been multiple well-documented instances where elements of the CIA and other U.S. government agencies are allied with or turned a blind eye to individuals and groups involved in drug trafficking to achieve other foreign policy goals, primarily in Central America, right? And now they're also and now more so they're shifting more towards the South America, but they're using the same fucking playbook, man. These fucking devils, right? Right. So right, and that takes me to the next precept. All right. Book of First Timothy, chapter 6, verse 20. It says here, "O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust. Avoid profane and vain babblings and oppositions of science, falsely so called, man." And science just means to know, right? Right. So, right, and that takes me to another precept, 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. Least Satan should get an advantage of us, for we're not ignorant of his devices, man. So yeah, man, we're not ignorant of Esau's fucking lies right here, man. The fact that it says is the transportation of drugs when there's been the CIA this whole fucking time transporting these drugs, man. They've been doing it in Central America, and you best believe they're also doing it in South America too, man. Man, it's proving that Esau's a fucking liar, man. And he said, Esau, this damn devil is going against, going against international law by setting the CIA too, man. So, so this damn devil doesn't even play by his own fucking rules, man. And man, Esau, man, he gotta go. He's gotta go, man. This damn devil. He has to get taken out of rulership.
Scare quote. That's a lie. It has nothing to do with drugs. In fact, this report in the New York Times, citing U.S. government officials, admitted that the goal is regime change to overthrow President Maduro. As the New York Times wrote, quote, "American officials have been clear privately that the end goal is to drive Mr. Maduro from power," end quote. And very importantly, the New York Times reported, citing U.S. officials, that Trump's authority for the CIA will allow it to, quote, "carry out lethal operations in Venezuela," end quote. Lethal operations. That means killing Venezuelan officials, including the target is President Maduro. Trump is giving a green light to the CIA to kill Venezuela's government officials and president. This is terrorism. This is a blatant act of international terrorism by the U.S. rogue regime. And the New York Times added that, quote, "the agency would be able to take covert action against Mr. Maduro or his government either unilaterally or in conjunction with a larger military operation," end quote. The New York...
And see, man, like it, and you know what's funny about this? They're the ones that are committing all these acts of violence, but yet they're calling everyone else the T word, and even his own people, the ones that say that have that No Kings protest or whatever, or say what he's doing is unconstitutional. He'll label them as T words, man. And he'll send the National Guard and ICE on them as well. So it's a beautiful thing, man. That we're seeing, the collapse of our enemy, man. Their downfall, right? Right. And that takes me, to this next precept. That's actually we should know this by now. Isaiah 19. All right, Isaiah 19, we're starting at verse 1. "The burden of Egypt, Behold, the Lord Yahweh Shemel shall rideth upon the swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, kingdom against kingdom. You best believe this civil war is going to happen, in these next coming months, man. And when this government shutdown continues, now who knows? They might lift it. You never know, but you best believe within these few months, man. Things are going to heat up, man, as this government shutdown continues. And, all right, verse 3, and the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof. They shall seek to their idols, and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards. Right? And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel lord. A fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord Yahweh Shemel. The Lord Sabaoth, meaning his armies. Right? All right, and that's what you're seeing being played out right now. Also, so time's coming, man, when you're gonna see, Jacob Trouble, coming to full blast, man, all hell breaking loose, man, martial law, and then the role of that MOTV, man, which is gonna be that final test, So, so Aki and Makwath, man, get your spirits right, get ready, man. And pray that Yahweh Bashim Yeshua be with you, when all this stuff gets rolled out, that the Lord, may give you a way out, man, if you be able to elect, because only the elect is going to make it out on this side. All right, so continuing on.
New York Times also revealed that the U.S. military has 10,000 troops deployed in the Caribbean, along with 8 warships and a submarine, all preparing for a massive escalation of the war on Venezuela. And one of the key people who's designing the strategy for this regime change war is Marco Rubio, who is serving as both Secretary of State and National Security Advisor. Rubio has been a lifelong neoconservative war hawk who has spent his entire political career pushing for regime change, not only in Venezuela, but also in Cuba and Nicaragua. So Donald Trump and Marco Rubio are working with the U.S. military, now the Department of War under Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, and with the CIA to try to overthrow Venezuela's government, as the New York Times admitted. And it quoted the head of the CIA under Trump, John Ratcliffe, who boasted at his confirmation hearing that the CIA is going to become even more aggressive under his leadership. That is, the CIA is going to try to back more coups around the world and meddle in the internal affairs of countries around the world and carry out terrorism, because that's what the CIA is doing, is international terrorism against independent sovereign states that the U.S. empire wants to control to rob them of their natural resources.
And, hey, man, and you best believe, man, in the midst of all that, man, when Caesar Nero, DJT-47, when he sends his CIA troops across the world, man, you best believe, man, this is gonna spark, if not escalate, that third woe, man, World War III. Once Nero sends all his, sends his fucking CIA agents across the world, man, to try to destabilize countries, try to turn them into fucking failed states, man, you best believe, man, what's ultimately gonna happen from this is while Nero's trying to destabilize the government, these governments, across the world, man, these other nations, man, the ones that hold their nuclear capabilities, they gonna get fed up, man, and they, and then once that MOTV rolls out, and once they they see all this underhanded shit that Babylon's doing, man. And of course, I'm not saying this is gonna happen exactly. This is me speaking as a man, but like But you best believe, man. They're just simply gonna get tired of Babylon's bull crap. And just press the button and send and send all their warheads to to Babylon, man. And then that and that's just and that's pretty much gonna be the end of America for you. So.
And Trump admitted that he authorized the CIA to try to destabilize Venezuela in a White House press conference. Listen here, a journalist asks Trump, and then Trump gives two ridiculous excuses. He falsely claims that it's because Venezuela is sending criminals to the US. That's not true. And supposedly that this is because of drugs. That's also not true. That's another lie used to justify this war. And then the journalist asks Trump if he gave authorization to kill President Maduro, and Trump refuses to answer the question. But we know from the New York Times that yes, he has given approval for the CIA to kill Venezuelan officials. Listen here.
Mr. President, thank you. Curious, why did you authorize the CIA to go into Venezuela? And is there more information you can share about these strikes on the alleged
Well, I can't
drug
do
busts in
that,
the
but
Caribbean?
I authorized for two reasons, really. Number one, they have emptied their prisons into the United States of America. And the other thing are drugs. We have a lot of drugs coming in from Venezuela. And a lot of the
Which he calls himself. Let me show you the receipt again. Did the CIA work with drug cartels in Central and South America to allow drugs to be smuggled into the United States? Yes. Yes, your own country did this. Yes, you motherfucker.
Venezuelan drugs come in through the sea, so you get to see that. But we're going to stop them by land also.
Does the CIA have authority to take out Maduro?
Oh, I don't want to answer a question like that. That's a ridiculous question for me to be given. Not really a ridiculous question, but wouldn't it be a ridiculous question for me to answer? But I think Venezuela's feeling heat.
Given that the US government is actively waging a war of aggression against Venezuela, this is why it's completely preposterous that the so-called Nobel Peace Prize.
All right, so we're just gonna stop it right there, man. The point's been made, man. This devil, man. He just got exposed, man. For for pretty much attempting to destabilize Venezuela with the CIA, man, and overthrow their government, which we've been knowing now is just now, Esau has to answer for that on the world stage, man. And soon, man, you best believe that that judgment is gonna come to Esau. So that's gonna take me to to another precept, and then we're gonna wrap this up.
And that judgment's coming soon, man. And the leg got first dibs.
You best believe, man. Esau gonna be getting that ass whooping, man. You best believe, man.
Leaks, man. Man.
We're gonna have fun whooping their ass. Let's just say that.
Beginning with the Lord of the Lake.
This is the book of Obadiah, chapter 1. We're gonna start verse 6. It says here, "How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They eat thy bread and have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him." Right. Right, the fact that that Nero tries to duck and dodge and not answer the question, man. As I say in the world, man. Every accusation is a confession, right? And the fact that this motherfucker he's not answering if he's not going to kill Maduro, man. In replace that, already shows me, Esau's intentions, man. Take over that land and take that resource, which has been pretty obvious from the beginning. It's just now everyone's just seeing Esau. Everyone's seeing this damn devil for who he is, man. A fucking liar and deceiver, man. man, and soon, man, you best believe, man, man, when that MOTB rolls out, they're gonna shoot their arrows, man. Man, that think Esau thinking that he gonna get control of everything. No, bro. That's a setup, man. The Lord put you in a trick bag, for you to get taken down ultimately, right? And this is what's gonna be the ultimate judgment for Esau, man. To end it off here. So I'm gonna read further down in Obadiah, because this is gonna be the ultimate judgment for Esau. Here at verse 18, Obadiah chapter 1. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai hath spoken it, right? So after that thousands of years, when Esau, man, their nation gets their ass beat, man, we can around all them men, or at least all their men in the pit, everyone that can produce their line, all of them are going to be gathered. They're going to get stuffed into the pit. They're going to get lit on fire, and we're just going to watch them burn, man. And after they're done, that's going to be it for the house of Esau, man. You ain't going to see any more devils, man. No more fucking Edomites, man. So so the water yell about Shemel Shai, man. We seen the end of this. All right. All right, so with that, man, we're gonna end off the lesson there. Hope this lesson's been edifying, to you Akim and you feel Akwath. And with that, we like to say, Call Hala Imla, Abanawa, Yahweh, Ba'ashem,
Ba'ashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahushua,
Ba'ashem,
Ba'ashem,
Ruka Kadash.
Rakakadad.
All right, double honors and respect to our apostles and elders, a great millstone, who rule on taught us truth. I would also like to say peace and salutations to the Lord's elect, the hopeful elect and the 1/3, your brother Salah.
Sarah.
With that, we like to say Shalom.